What's up, guys? All right, so today's video, I gotta paint this house over here. We're gonna paint only two sides of the house, the south side and the west side of the house, because it's the two sides that get hammered, and that's what he hired me to do. So anyways, it's a $1,000 job. We're gonna go ahead and paint all of the body color of this house. Now we're gonna have some collateral damage, and by that I mean we're gonna end up hitting some of the trim, so we'll have to touch up some of the trim. But first, we gotta pressure wash. So let's do this. Stick around, don't go anywhere. Hey, welcome back to the channel, guys. And if this is your first time here, my name is Timo, and this is the Timo Show, where I bring you guys along on my journey to being self-employed. And if this isn't your first time here, make sure you guys tell me hi in the comment section, because I've been away for a while. And you know, I thought about making this video a two-part video. The first video of me just pressure washing, and then the second video of me actually painting the house. But after reviewing the pressure washing footage, now I don't think it would have been that satisfactory to a viewer, only because it's only two sides of the house, and it was really hot and it was drying very fast. So there wasn't really that satisfaction that you get from watching those pressure washing videos, but I needed to include it because I need to let you know that it is important to pressure wash a house before you paint it. Now this house was super dry. The paint was ultra faded, and we got hired to just redo the front because the two other sides of the house, the actual body color isn't really in bad shape. It's actually in pretty decent shape. Here I'm using the red tip on my pressure washer. The pressure washer I'm using is a 14.5 gallon per minute machine. And I like to switch out the tips between the green tip, which is a 35-degree angle, and this red tip I think is like a 0 degree. I forget what they call the red tip, but that sucker will hit the eaves on a 2-story house from the ground. However, sometimes I do like to hop up on a 2-foot or a 4-foot ladder just to get the extra extension. And also, this was the first day of a 3-day heat wave. So yeah, it's really warm today. It's only like 100 degrees today. So I mean, I'm kind of surprised, but look, it's already dry. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go get some extension ladders, and we'll get a thing of rags so that way we can dry down any parts of it that's still wet. And then we can start wrapping and maybe even get this side painted today. What do you think? I think it's a great idea, but we'll see how it goes. Oh, we gotta turn the water on, jeez. So the reason they brought me on to paint only two sides of the house is, well, because these two sides get very weathered very quickly. Now you can see the brown spot to the right of the ladder underneath the window. They had repaired a crack in the stucco and then tried to use the existing paint that they had the house painted with a while back to touch up with. And as you can see, it doesn't match, not even close. So they hired me to come in and paint. Now I can't stress of how important it is to back roll on a project like this. When you have stucco that's this dry and doesn't really have a noticeable layer of paint, it's very important to back roll. Now I'm doing this all by myself. I'm a one-man crew at this point. I did have a helper. Unfortunately, he found a better opportunity and he's not working with us anymore. So it's just gonna be me, one-man crew. I might have to change the name of my company from TKO to OMC, one-man crew. I don't know, probably not gonna happen. But anyways, I still have to back roll even if I don't have help there. So what I'm doing is I kind of have the back roller with me there. I spray a big section. I make sure to back roll it with a nice thick Purdy Nap synthetic roller. Now I'm using about 1 inch. I think the roller that I had on this particular day was 1 inch thick, but a 3/4 inch thick roller nap would work very well too. So the way that I'm trying to prevent this from fading as fast as it has is by putting a coat on, back rolling it, and then coming over on top of that and putting another coat. So by doing that, it'll ensure that we have a nice, durable, uniform coating on the stucco, because if you don't do that sometimes and you just back roll, or sometimes if you just spray without back rolling, the coat won't look uniform. It'll look blotchy, because what ends up happening is you have some heavier spots. Now I like to carry around 2 different tips. On these big bold areas, the big broad areas like we're working on now, I use a 415. I probably could go bigger, something like a 516, but I prefer to use a 415 on this day because it was a little bit windy. And when you use a smaller tip in the wind, you waste less product. The material I didn't have to pay for on this project, but we did end up using way more paint than I had anticipated. I was thinking about 10 gallons at most to cover, you know, 2 sides of this house, because a house this size will probably take about 20 to 25. But the bigger part of the houses we weren't actually tackling, which is the back and the east side of the house. So I thought 10 gallons would have been plenty, but let me tell you, it was not plenty. And another problem that we ran into was he bought 3 more gallons, but he still had 1 gallon left over from when the house was originally painted. Now, I mixed that 1 gallon plus the 3 new gallons all in together. Well, one of the existing gallons that he had before he bought 3 was actually a low sheen. Same exact color, same product line, but it was a different sheen. It was a low sheen. And unfortunately, after I painted the gable of that house, the top triangular area, we ran out of paint. We got more. I mixed it together and we started painting the bottom. Well, the bottom and the top didn't match. So I actually had to come back through and repaint that top triangular area. So I actually painted that area twice because it really didn't match. And I really didn't get any footage of it to really show you what I was talking about, but it would have been hard to translate over a camera, especially the GoPro. But it was just a slight difference. You could just barely tell that the bottom half did not match the top half.
All right, I know the lighting's horrible in the shot, but this is the only way I can get it. It's like inside of this little shaded area, but I don't really want to put the camera on the end of the wand because the lens is gonna get wiped out super fast. So, all right, let's go.
So anytime you guys are spraying, always try to remember to make sure that you wear a mask, a respirator, because this stuff can be nasty and you can get pneumonia, which I've had before. So I try to wear a mask every single time that I'm spraying. And don't say anything about the way that I'm setting the ladder on these little beams right here because it's not safe, I know, but just, or say something. I don't know. Sometimes in the moment you just do something that might not be exactly safe just to get the job done. And, I was being safe and very mindful where my feet were. I know it looks sketchy, but it really wasn't that sketchy. All right, guys, let's talk equipment. Now, when I'm spraying on these projects, I like to keep 2 tips with me and 2 housings. Tip goes inside of the housing, housing goes on top of the gun. I like to use 2 different tips, especially in this small vestibule area or entryway, whatever you want to call this area. I like to have multiple tips on me because one is it'll be a skinny fan. And when I say a skinny fan, that means the width of the fan as it comes out of the gun. I like to use the fine finish tips to get into tighter areas because sometimes when you're using a big blue tip, a big fat 415 is what I'm using for the big broad areas of the stucco, you have a lot of waste sometimes. So, and also not to mention when you get up really high on top of the ladder there, like where I'm at now, painting underneath the gutters, you have a lot more control if you have a fine finish tip and you're not using as much paint, so you don't risk getting drips and heavy buildup on areas where you don't want it to be heavy, like on the wood areas. Using the big 415 is perfect for piling on that paint onto that stucco so you could back roll it in and keep your roller nice and wet. But once you get up to the smooth areas, you don't need that giant tip. You need something more you can have a little more control with. Now, all of the equipment that I do use, I always leave links in the description below. So if you're interested in getting to know the material and the projects that I use to get these jobs done, to make money, to keep myself alive, to pay my bills, because maybe you're interested in doing it, click those links because those links are there for you to know exactly what I use. And also it does help me because if you click those links and you buy anything within a 24-hour period, I do get a small commission from Amazon and it's great. And with all these payments, I've been able to upgrade my cameras. I started this YouTube channel with just a phone. Editing, recording, filming, voiceovers, everything was done on a phone. I've recently bought a laptop. I've upgraded a little bit. I don't think I bought a strong enough laptop, but we'll go into that later. But I got a nice mic now. And so this all helps me out provide this content for you guys because I enjoy making this content. And if I can keep doing it and keep making it better for you guys, I'm going to keep doing that. So if you click any of those links, I do get a small commission and I'll appreciate it. And as always, we're coming towards the end of the video. The job is done. And I feel like I'm forgetting to include something in the video. So if there's any kind of questions that you guys have about the project or any questions at all, please leave them in the comment section. I try to respond to every comment. Sometimes some slip through the cracks, but I eventually find them and always respond. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you think that I provided any kind of value, make sure to hit that thumbs up button for me because it really does help me out, helps the channel out tremendously. And make sure to say something in the comments. I think sketchy will be the word of the day. If you made it this far, put sketch in the comment sections. And I'll see you guys in my next video. Thanks for watching. Peace.